Good morning, good afternoon, and happy start to the week. Today was a crazy day. Not a whole lot of obvious stocks, a lot of dispersed volume. We're going to dive into everything I traded. It was a good day today. I got to say, it was a really good day. Execution was on point, but I want to break down every trade that I took because there was a lot of stuff out there today that I feel like a lot of people would have struggled with if they were new. Because on days like today where there's not really that obvious stock, it's very easy to go out there and force trades on not so quality setups. Of course, the big thing that was leading today was that BNAI from the close on Friday. This squeezed up big Friday afternoon. I'm sure you probably saw this. This thing runs up in the afternoon on Friday from 17 all the way to 83 bucks a share. So crazy stuff to see there. Gaps up at 4 a.m. and then of course just halts down out of the bell and just fades all morning. So a lot of the volume from this name here I knew was going to be going over to the AI names. Look at the sympathy names like we had on the watch list last night, which was GXAI, ARAI, and we have a few others as well like QCLS. Now, I actually did get to play a couple of those today like GXAI, MBAI. ARAI never set up for me, but did have some good trades on GXAI out of market open. That was one of those on GXAI where out of the bell, this thing was just a really good setup. Now, I thought for sure it was going to get going, and I was able to trade it here pretty well. Now, we come out of market open. At the time, I was looking around, like, what am I going to be trading today? I couldn't really find anything that looked obvious. And so what I had this morning was BATL, GXAI, and QCLS. Those were my top watches. Nothing else really looked good. So on GXAI here, as you saw my game plan, the game plan here was to watch it off of 188 for the range back to, as you can see, VWAP, and then 265. And so that's what I did here. And so we came out of market open in this downtrend where you have this, again, previous to lower high. Well, we see price crack above that. And so we have this high to lower high. Again, it breaks back above. And so as that breaks out at market open, I am looking to play this thing. And so it breaks out here after reclaiming over the 9, 20, 50 moving average. We have room to VWAP. And so as that candle pulls back, I snag an entry there real quick to see if we couldn't get that squeeze up higher. And I did get a pop back to retest VWAP, but we just couldn't get breaking back above. And so as this begins, you can see here, it keeps on testing off of VWAP here, and I keep on taking profits up into that strength. I put in place this big wick off of VWAP here, which was the first sign. And then it tries to break here. And that was my full exit here, because what we have here, look at this. I'll zoom in so you can actually see what we have here. What we have here is, look at this. We have this high, followed by lower high. This candle then tries to break out to a new high and instantly rejects. And so guess what? That is my exit. Anytime we have one of those failed breakouts like that with instant rejection, I just want to be out. The market's talking to you. You just have to listen. So overall, nice way to start the day there. I broke the ice 205 to about 213. Little win to start. A small win to start. But that was today. Today was a base hit day. Honestly, I couldn't really get anything to be a home run win today. That's okay. That's just the market. That's just some days. And so next we went on over to ABOS. And this thing was actually really nice today. So my only problem with ABOS, this was one of those big daily breakout setups. Look at the chart here. This thing looked phenomenal. You have the clean break of this past daily. Look at this. Flat top break on the daily chart. This looked phenomenal. So I know I want to watch it over 240s. Easily questions there. And so as I'm watching this, we see it put in place a nice range off the 9. Now, I wanted to take this down here for a pullback off of VWAP again. Unfortunately, it never pulled back. I had to take it a little bit higher, so I didn't have quite as much size in this as I would have had otherwise. But nonetheless, still played it quite well. And that's the difference between today and a day like Friday where you have that KUST. On Friday, I traded one stock, and that one stock was KUST. It was the most obvious stock in the market. Today I came in, I probably traded 6 or 7 stocks. Because volume was so dispersed, I'm sitting here trying to take base hit here, base hit there, seeing what wants to get resolving. And so you're stuck like this. And so we get this big 1-minute breakout that I want to see price confirm back above. And so it breaks out here initially, pulls back. We see it confirm off this pullback. I wanted to see it back lower to retest off of VWAP. It didn't pull back lower, and so I ended up having to play it a little bit higher. So going a little bit smaller with my share size, but nonetheless. And so we get breaking out over the high of day. As you can see, as price moves higher, trimming up into the previous high of day and raising my stop loss to that next 1-minute candle's low until eventually got stopped out here for a win. Now, the only problem here that I had with this had a 50 million share float. So you didn't trade too friendly, very wide, but still was able to make it do. So a nice win there. Happy with it. Again, tied off VWAP. We're cooking. Next up, I had old EVTV. I'm really happy with the execution here too. This is one that I saw getting breaking out. I want you to see this here. We'll look back at the pre-market levels, and it's one of those where it was a little bit funky, but at the same time, I feel like I got really good reads on it. I feel like I got really good reads on it. And so anyways, we're breaking out here. Well, I want you to see this back from pre-market too. We look at the 5-minute time frame, you get a better idea of what we're looking at here. And so you look back from pre-market, we have this backside going into the bell. And so I wasn't watching this at first because, again, look at this. You're looking at straight backside. And of course, here you're still sort of fighting that backside to some degree. But then we sort of break out here on the 1-minute chart. And so you can see these lower highs, which are, well, yeah, we're these lower highs here. We have these lower lows here. And so I'm looking for a breakout this descending channel. And so price breaks out, retest off of VWAP. I try to get a squeeze back up into the previous high of day. I don't get that on the first entry, which you'll see right here where I had to, of course, manage my risk and take a re-entry. Where I'm taking it off the pullback here where VWAP sits, risking off the bottom of this candle to see if we couldn't get squeezing up through that high in 3. Well, guess what? Per my system, price breaks out, or tries to, and we see sellers instantly come in. That's my exit every single time. And so went ahead and took my exit there. Very small win. And so at that point, I'm sitting back and I'm waiting because I know we have got the 9 and 20 moving average down here where I'm going to look for confirmation. And so, again, I wait for price to pull back off the 9 and 20, which you have the 9, 20, and 50 all right in line here. Of course, also have the confluence of this past range from out of market open, just like this, bada boom. And so was able to, again, take a re-entry as price confirmed. We have this little doji candle put in at the low, which signals indecision off those pullbacks. And so was able to take it there with a stop loss down here at the bottom of this last 1-minute candle, where all the EMAs coincide. And from there, able to, again, take this. You can see I had about 278 entry to about 268 stop, about 10 cents of risk. And then we had range back to 3. So here I had about a 2-to-1 risk to reward. And so, again, sitting pretty nice. Got to move from 278 back to 293. Again, I'm happy with that. On a day like today, I'm happy. Good execution. Simple. Very good execution. Just to break that descending channel, clean. Then we had old SLGB. This also was a very similar setup, actually. Almost no different. And so we have here, which all of my entries are pretty much the same. You know, my system is my system. And so we have, again, look at this. The same setup here. Lower lows, lower highs, breaks out. I'm looking for pullbacks. Price pulls back. We have range back to VWAP. And look at this. Because we have this doji form here, which I want to see confirmation. And so wait for price to break above that doji. Confirm direction. Stop loss goes right here. And so once again, I'm in here at, as you can see, 213. Stop loss goes down here at 2, about 13 cents a share of risk. And I've got range back to 240. And so again, I got to move here straight back to 230. So again, very happy with this as well. As price projects off this high, took a full exit. So again, super happy. And so as you can see, every trade's about the same this morning. It's just base hit after base hit after base hit after base hit. Super simple stuff. Then we had this MBAI, which, to be completely honest, this one was tough. It's up this morning to look at this. It fit the theme, ends in AI, right? That's the theme right now. And this stock right now is actually up 150%, which is just crazy to me. And I really lacked so much conviction with this today. I first pulled this up right here, and I was going to take it because you have this big leg to the upside on volume, pulls back off the 9, off VWAP. This is my entry every single day of the week. That's my system. But I didn't take it. I should have with smaller size. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have at least gotten some risk on the table here, some sort of exposure to the move here because it was a great setup. The reason why I didn't trade is because I lacked conviction because of the overall context of the stock. This was CHEK back before January, it looks like. And a lot of these biotech stocks sort of try and hop on the bandwagon of whatever's hot. And this is the case of that here. And what you can see the business summary is that they deal with, you can see, colorectal cancer screening. So I'm like, all right. You know those things, those scammy stocks that change their tickers, drive investors into the dirt, change their tickers. So it's like this fly trap, essentially, where they change tickers, drive it lower, change tickers, everybody forgets, drive it lower. And so I see this as check cap, and I'm like, all right, I don't know about this. So I missed the entry there, and then whenever it actually starts to trade quite clean, I take a pullback here for a continuation higher, and guess what? I take a very small win. Same story here. Tries to break out, instant exit. Instant exit as price begin to reject off the highs. So again, it's one of those things I hate because I missed the entry here. It is what it is. You cannot force conviction. This thing actually made a pretty decent move today, though, after I wrapped for the day. But you can't force conviction. Yeah, it's one of those things where if I would have told myself, look, I'm a little bit sussed out by this. I don't really know if I can trade this. And then you go and trade it anyways, you're not going to trade it well. You're just not going to trade it well. So I just had to sit on the sidelines. Let's see. So we talked about SLGB, EVTV, GXAI, MBAI, ABOS. We also had NAMM, which I was hardly able to do much on today. And again, it's about forcing conviction. It's one of those where I didn't like this. Today, we are underneath, as you can see, that past daily high, which we didn't like either on Friday, which we avoided. Thankfully, got saved out of a halt. Didn't play it. And, I saw it setting up. I took a quarter size on this, by the way, so I had extremely small share size. But, I saw price respecting so well off this past high of day, where we have this past high where it halts up, resumes, knifes back lower, and then we have support formed here off of the 90 MA. So I'm like, all right, well, buyers are finding some sort of interest here. And it eventually makes a bit of a move later on. At this point, I took my eyes off of it. Um, didn't love the move that it was making through here, and of course it ended up working, but I took a very small win here. I wanted to see continuation here after the upside back up to those highs. I didn't get it, and so again, you can't force conviction. I had a quarter size here just because I didn't have any real conviction. I just didn't like it. It was on my do not trade list back on Friday, and today it really was no exception for that. So that's pretty much the morning, though. Overall, really good day today. Again, GXAI, MBAI, EVTV, SLGB was perfect, ABOS was perfect, and so you know what? I got to be happy with today. There wasn't an obvious stock, but the big reason why so many fail on days like today is forcing setups that aren't great. And today, the two setups that I lacked conviction in were NAMM and MBAI. And both of those I took smaller share size on. I still shot a shot at them. Fired a shot. But it's just one of those things where you can't force conviction. And the last thing you want to do is take size where you don't really have that conviction. You got to trust yourself. And the problem that I saw in chat today, while most had good days today, the problem that I saw with some were forced trades, ignoring stop loss, and that really is what happens on a day like today where you feel like you've got to make something work, you've got to catch home runs, so you stop managing risk, you start forcing setups that aren't great, right? You start forcing bad entries because there's nothing moving and you want to turn the day into a big day. You got to understand that every day is not going to be a big day, and you have to listen to the market. The market talks, you just have to listen. So that being said, that's today's recap. Overall, a pretty good day. As you can see, I executed pretty well today. So I'm really, really happy with that, despite sort of the weird start of the week. I think the winter storm might have some people out of power. Some brokers I saw having some issues. But nonetheless, that's my Monday. Hopefully you learned a thing or two from this video. If you did, hit that subscribe button for daily content just like this. And make sure to claim your 7-day free trial to trade alongside me in real time every single day, where you'll also get watch list, alerts, education, chat room access, scanners, news, Momentum AI, Momentum Journal, and so much more. And that being said, I will catch you there tomorrow for an awesome trading day ahead. And I'll see you then.